Hello, my name is Socrates, and the concepts presented may offend you. Our fascination with grotesquity and violence is an ancient and enduring subject, to which the common person will within their lifetime become direct interpreter of the savagery and darkness put forth by those who never come with what was most likely the same damage they suffered. Consisting of both the conscious mind and the subconscious, the decisions we make when buying a vehicle, a television, a camera, a knife, a dog or a stereo are bound to our own identity through the experiences we knowingly perceive and what only in hindsight we are able to note our lifetime. Sexuality, fetishization, interests, phobias, hobbies and anxieties are all a part of what makes you able to do anything in a matter of action potential. There is with trees the consistency of our person, built upon who we are in the moment, to who we are able to become due primarily to the factors of presentation during our childhood, factoring into what we examine and how we examine these experiences with what I like to call imperatives. Much as the philosophy of Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative notes the breadth of experiences into what we can become when analyzed like a game of Connect 4. Biased to statistical probability through variables relevant to character development, in that we are bound to each subset of prior factors and only through transformation of these factors through assessment of the base of our person would the relevance of action potential become more plethoric. This piece today is about the personal identity and the confusion both in our conscious mind and our subconscious rational. Most specifically with the question of ESP. So in the early days of psychology, we were relating the consistent history of personal perceptions to neurology, but when aligned to the imperative that a base set of factors and physical capacity to attain the self through observation of the tampering toward the conditioning of one's id. There in mind is also that correlation to all the perception of conscious self that allow one to practice retrospective analysis when attempting to break down the walls we built with every fear of rejection or failure that can bury you like an iceberg, adding chunks of steel to its mass and dragging it below the surface of the ocean. Drug use, lack of sleep, depressions and phobias holding a grip, but only in the conscious acceptance of the events instilling the effect you buy into socially is the capacity to retain these consequential breaches in what we call free agency as the constitution by which the personal identity is truly retained. Like a dog in a kennel, taught to fight and kill when released, it must subject itself to the retrospective analysis of its personified identity to completely agree with who it is as it becomes a rational animal. As well, to engage who we are at the subconscious level and to engage the conscious mind and to become one who would be able to communicate thoroughly knowing when there's stimuli of theirs or if sheer empathy is a factor to which the capacity to identify with oneself is rationally within their capacity knowing of the pre-will variables such as the premises behind what life is after death, what the spirit is and what the premises strengths and weaknesses are. If the strength of the spirit is a part of our free will, then the sentiment behind asking for strength by pet free will, then the engagement of the person as a free agent is to be questioned. Like the kennel dog, your rational is not lost to yourself, but to accept all choices or communication as you were after leaving the kennel must be put to the scrutiny of organic diversity. All choices older expires to you, from you as you and that who you became would only be bound to the free idiot of yourself unconditional to underlying factors or variables. Which is precisely the moniker of this piece, is your emotional capacity to identify yours alone. And should those who you motivate be allowed to engage those who deserve free will as those who you admire, may affect those otherwise to the latter. Is this a fair game of religious speculation, that if we are being who wears a body, if these which we are only so is then we are at a base emotional creatures that learn by applying ourselves to the array of skills and statures that are made available in life. Thus to reassess when we are ourselves feeling or emoting to which the substance would or could affect others, if when there is an external fact there being more than a 100% numeric factor to responsibility in the turning of events that are or could become consequential to the future. Is it a submission of free will to let the use of ESP by motivating events based in the subconscious to which the freedom of religion may play a factor or wholly the absolute that bends the events which land so inconvenient, further obscuring the perception of the personal account of responsibility such as stimulation from external sources creating the illusion of sexual deviancy? Does this hold some legal precedence? If so, it were to be proven. If it does this defeat religious freedom? As I write this, I hear an Amber Alert on my phone and it only holds further relevance to this speculation. If God were not good, or the God who is worshipped is not good, should it not be illegal to pray or worship? At least in this regard.
Thanks for listening. Click the like or subscribe buttons to support this channel.